I've ran on over 15 different types of treadmills this year. Planet Fitness treadmills, Equinox treadmills, hotel gyms in Memphis, Tennessee, Dublin, all over the world, which means I'm extremely qualified to give you my 15 ideas if I'm CEO of a treadmill company. Starting with number one being the magnetic phone mount. It frustrates me so much when I put on Netflix, I put on a YouTube podcast, I put my phone sideways, try to lock in for the treadmill. But what happens is because when you're running so much, the phone is slowly shifting over and you have to almost hit your phone back to get it back to center. And then it's slowly going to inch over to the right or inch over to the left. And you have to constantly get it back to center throughout the whole run. The idea here is if we are running a treadmill company, we'll have the phone magnetically stay on that front portion of the treadmill. So your phone never moves and you don't have to move your arms to get it back in space. Because that's actually pretty dangerous when you think about it of when you're running, trying to move a phone. It's just not safe. It would be better for everyone if the phone just stayed still. And just like you shouldn't be on your phone when you drive, you also shouldn't be on your phone when you're running on a treadmill. Honestly, it might even be more mentally taxing to be running and trying to do something on your phone than running while driving, just because I think about myself when I'm running. Like, mental math is so difficult when running, especially trying to dictate or calculate the pace and everything, and it would just be so hard to be on your phone too. So, magnetic phone mounts, idea number 1. Idea number 2 is a step heat map. We should be able to give runners the data of where they're landing on the treadmill. I'm currently fighting an IT band injury. I am currently doing Operation Bulletproof the Knees for those that follow me on LinkedIn. And I've been doing a bunch of PT exercises because that was just where my body tended to give out after the half marathon, which I did break 2 hours, which I felt awesome about. But after that, I didn't run for 2 weeks because my IT band was hurting so badly. So if I've learned anything from these running injuries, is that there is typically a root cause, and the treadmill should be able to calculate that root cause. Hopefully, one idea is to do it via step tracking. Like, if maybe I'm stepping too far forward, maybe I'm not running in a straight line, I'm running like, I'm not balanced on my 2 feet. Whatever the answer is, hopefully the treadmill can help us with a step heat map. Idea number 3 is live cadence tracking. One of the things that has made my knees more bulletproof and helped me not get injured through one of my injuries is tracking my cadence and listening to a metronome. So my steps are more consistent when I run, and also my cadence is a little bit higher, so it's less pressure on everything. I'm not heel striking, which is going to give more pressure to my joints. So the thought here is that as you're running in real time, just like the treadmill tells you your pace, some treadmills, if you hold on to a bar, it'll tell you your heart rate, although I've never really used that before, but this treadmill could also tell you your cadence, which is really just telling you how many times per minute you're stepping. And again, the reason this is important is for injuries, and it's helped me a lot after talking to my running coach. So idea number 3 is live cadence tracking. Idea number 4 is stealth mode. And what I mean by stealth mode is that the treadmill hides your pace in minutes per mile. I'm someone when I'm running on a treadmill, especially in a hotel or at a gym, I'll take a towel from the hotel and put it over the main screen of the treadmill. So I can't really see the pace that I'm running or how long I've gone. The only way I could get a sense of time is from my watch, which does have the total elapsed time. I have that on, but I don't even put the distance on my watch because I don't want to be thinking how close I am to being done with the run, just because when you're on a treadmill, it's so easy to just step off. And if I can give myself one more reason to not just think about that, I'm going to do it. So the idea here is that just like you can put a towel over a treadmill to hide the pace and minutes per mile, how far you've gone, we'll do the same without having to do a towel. Because even with the towels, when I do that, sometimes they might fall over and I don't want to trip on it. It's a mess. But idea number 4 is stealth mode. Hide your mileage, time, and pace. Idea number 5 is treadmill calibration. A 9-minute pace should be a 9-minute pace everywhere. We have NSF certified for those super into supplements, meaning safe for sports performance that you won't get, in trouble for doping with. That is a common certification for supplements. We should have the same thing for treadmills because sometimes when I'm running on these treadmills, I might be running at a 9-minute pace, or I normally just do like 6.5 or 6.6 miles per hour. I'm like, I know I'm in like, not in great shape right now, but that it feels like way too easy or something. That is way too hard. And I think there should be some sort of certification of a third party, just like NSF certified for sport does for supplements, but for treadmills to make sure they're actually the pace that they say they are. Idea number 5 is treadmill calibration. Idea number 6 is a built-in filming mount. And I'm not saying this just because I'm someone who does film myself sometimes when I'm on the treadmill, although I'll often put it in that front screen and get a really awkward angle of myself. The reason I think treadmills need a built-in filming mount is because when I'm talking to my running coach, and I bet the person listening to this, if they're into running at all, they might have a running coach. Your running coach will say, "Send me a video of you running." But that's so difficult to do because if you're running outside, like, what are you gonna put it on a sidewalk angled up? It's really hard to see. A treadmill is really the ideal situation for them to watch you run, but there's no good way to set up a phone for a treadmill. Like, sometimes I've taken benches in the gym, rolled them all the way over to the back of the treadmill, set the bench upright at like a 90-degree angle, and then put my phone on that. But even then, I'm like selfie cameraing it, so then it's like kind of backwards and doesn't totally look right. Sometimes I'll try to use the back phone of my camera, but that's hard to see because if you're leaning it up against a chair, you can't necessarily see what you're filming, so you're just really hoping that you're getting what you want. There are so many issues with trying to film yourself while you're running. I think a built-in filming mount would be perfect because that way you can send videos to your running coach. Or I bet by the time this video is out, they're gonna be running AI coaches where you can upload a video and it can say, "Here's what you're messing up about your run. Maybe you're stepping forward a little bit too much with your right foot. Maybe you aren't bringing your left knee up enough when you run." I don't know what it is, but I guarantee you either a coach or an AI, something can help you have better running form and get injured less if there's a video of you running and fix those root causes before they actually happen. So idea number 6 is a built-in filming mount. And no, it's not just for influencers. It's for injury prevention. Idea number 7 is lane assist. A lot of these treadmills are pretty skinny, to be honest. Some of them are, a little bit wider. You have a lot more room to work. But if I'm super plugged into my phone or a podcast, for example, I might drift over to one side or I might drift over to the other side. And part of that is totally normal. But you also don't want to get too close to that metal part of the belt because if you hit that like metal side while you're running and you think you're going to hit a belt, you are going to trip, fall, and seriously hurt yourself. So the idea with lane assist is that if you're drifting too far to one side, it'll give you subtle haptic feedback, just like those edges on a highway, to tell you to go back a little bit more to center. Just like lane assist in a car. When you are like driving on the highway with a car with lane assist and you go over a little bit too far to the right, it'll just nudge you back to the right way in the lane. These treadmills will do the same thing. Lane assist will nudge you to make sure you're in the middle of the belt most of the time to prevent you from seriously falling and hurting yourself. Idea number 8 is to switch our pricing. Treadmills, honestly, are pretty expensive, and rightfully so. Like, I'm totally down to invest in my health and wellness. It's worth it to me every time I'm spending time on a gym and a treadmill. But what I think one way we could innovate with our pricing is pay people for using it because our goal really should be with a treadmill is for people to be healthier. So if we paid someone $1 per mile they ran, and let's say we charged $7,000 for the treadmill. If someone runs 20 miles a week, maybe half the miles are on this treadmill, that's $10 a week with 10 miles a week. Over the course of 52 weeks, that's $520 per year. And at that pace, it would take 13.46 years to recoup your initial investment. I don't think we should pay the entire amount of the $7,000 people pay for a treadmill all back to them. Some treadmills are also cheaper. They're like $1,000, $2,000, not 7,000. The 7,000 is the example of the Peloton treadmill, which is on the higher end of treadmills. But what I would do, as opposed to giving back all 7,000, is just giving treadmill owners a $500 refund if they hit 500 miles. Because then it's really incentivizing the customer to be like, you know what? Like, I'm going to keep going. And $500 is something we can afford, definitely, as a company. When you have so much margin baked into something, you'll get people posting on social media about it, saying, oh, I hit 500 miles. I got $500 back from this company. And I also just think objectively, value-based pricing will probably be the future of pricing. I just see it a lot with this AI stuff, like Lovable. A lot of these vibe coding platforms are going with the credits model, pretty much saying that you pay for how much you use. Same with using OpenAI or Claude APIs, which is just like you're paying for how many times you call the OpenAI or Claude API, which is just a way to get data from them or use their computers and models, etc. So, like LinkedIn is charging for the number of InMails, the number of messages you send. So, I think that value-based pricing will be the future, and giving a little $500 bonus to people who spend a lot of money on our treadmills for hitting 500 miles could be a good hope there. Idea number 9 is injury prevention. And I think I touched on this earlier, but I really, really, really want to integrate a lot more tech into treadmills because they really haven't changed in decades. Peloton, what they pretty much did innovating with treadmills, they just made a bigger screen and integrated a lot of classes, but that's not really the tech what I want. I mean, by adding tech to treadmills, I mean like what Whoop did to a lot of the wearable industry, giving you a lot of stats that you could never really measure before. I want to have those stats, but for running, like cadence, like your foot pattern, like your form. If there can be a camera somewhere, or as you can film yourself from that filming mount, we can have something that tells you how your step pattern and form compares to other runners and try to help you prevent injuries before they even happen. Or maybe I didn't warm up enough, and when I warm up, that run looks different after I've walked for 2 minutes as opposed to just starting fresh. So I think really the goal is for this smart treadmill idea number 9 to prevent more injuries is really just to find more ways to collect more data, whether it's your step pattern, whether it's filming you, to try to help our runners get injured less. Just because pretty much every injury I've had, it isn't just like a one day I wake up and something hurts out of the blue for no reason. There are warning signs that lead up to stuff, and this treadmill could hopefully help do that root cause analysis, trying to figure out what the problems are with your running form and prevent it from getting to the point where you can't run anymore. Idea number 9 is injury proof the treadmills. Idea number 10 is sweat proof grip zones. Every treadmill I've run on has those same slick plastic handles, not only on the front that you can use for your heart rate, but also on the side. For me, as someone who sweats a lot, 40 minutes in, my hands are soaked, and so are those railings. It's kind of embarrassing to say. But I think we need to replace them with more textured, sweat wicking zones, because or maybe if like we put a towel on there in some way that it can grip to a towel and hold the sweat more that way. I just think a lot of these treadmills, both the belt and the things that you hold on to on the side if you were to fall, are not super easy to hold on to. If you sweat as much as I do, it can be pretty unsafe. Like, if I'm running for more than 40 minutes on a treadmill, as embarrassing as this sounds, I actually have to get on a different treadmill because I don't want to slip because my feet will get wet and so will the treadmill belt. And I don't want to risk slipping on the treadmill. So, doing what we can to try to make it more grippy in a way to prevent falls is idea number 10. Idea number 11 is a Command Z undo button. If the person listening to this has ran on a treadmill, they know what it's like to accidentally pull the emergency stop button or accidentally, as they're running, hit 2 miles per hour. That is one of the worst feelings ever because you're in the zone, you're running, you just don't want to stop, but you accidentally do something, and now you're like, oh my gosh, what do I do? I have to move the towel up, try to figure out what's wrong with the treadmill, and get it back to that 6.5, 6.6 mile per hour pace. The idea here is just a simple Command Z button for when you accidentally hit the emergency stop, for when you accidentally hit 2 miles per hour, for when you accidentally hit an incline of 5 by accident. It can undo that easily and stop it midway through from going all the way down to 2 miles per hour, and then you have to recalculate everything, whatever. No, it can just Command Z undo, just like a computer, and fix everything. Idea number 12 is to have a streak leaderboard by hotel brand. This one might be a little more difficult because Marriott's and Hilton's and Hyatt's don't all have the same hotels. But I think it would be cool to see across different brands, hotel gyms, have some friendly competitions, especially within the business travel community, to see like if someone is really loyal to Marriott and they work out in the gym a lot, if Courtyards are logging more miles than the Hilton brand equivalent. I don't know. I stay at more Marriotts than the other brands, so I'd be curious to see how Marriott travelers comparing the fitness level to others, and it could just be fun competition just because just like people love Delta or American Airlines, it could be a good way to get some fun into the fitness community of both hotel brands. Idea number 13 is one that I'm not sure about, and that's wait lists. I was talking to a friend at recently where he was thinking about starting a business that was essentially a wait list for gym equipment. So if you're at Equinox and all the benches are full, you enter your name in a wait list, and then when it's your turn, you're notified and you can take the bench, and so on and so forth. And it was interesting to me to think about with treadmills because it's happened to me many times as I've stayed in hotels all across America and the world that the treadmills are full. Because especially when there are only 3 treadmills and there are hundreds of hotel rooms, it's bound to happen in the morning. Most of that time, I'll just run outside or hang around in the gym for 5 minutes, hit one exercise, and if no one seems like they're gonna leave and they're pretty settled in their pace, I'll definitely run outside. But I don't know. I don't know if there's something here because when I'm on the treadmill, for example, I don't wanna be rushed, and I feel like if there was a wait list, either by time, saying you get the treadmill for 30 minutes, or just saying you get it whenever this person's done, I would feel rushed, and I wouldn't want the person who I'm taking the treadmill from to be rushed because I wouldn't wanna be rushed. I'd wanna enjoy my workout. So, I'm not sure this is a great idea, but it was something I thought about, and I just wanted to include in this episode if the audience might have liked it, but I probably wouldn't do it if I was CEO of a treadmill company just because I don't want people to be rushed. Nonetheless, it's something we could do as a CEO of a treadmill company. Idea number 14 is the double treadmill. Either, here's what I think. You can A, have it be a mega belt that 2 people run side by side at the same pace. Or B, something I like a little bit more, is that it would be 2 separate belts that can go at different speeds, but people can run and struggle together. The idea for this is I love running with my dad. It's one of my favorite things to do. It's one of the main reasons I stay in decent running shape and try to stay healthy, and it motivates me to do all my PT exercises so I can run with him. But when we run inside, it's kinda difficult to run on treadmills next to each other, the current setup of treadmills, just because there are kind of barriers of arms in between you, and you're just, like, looking straight, typically outside at, like, a metal wall or something. It's just treadmills are not really meant to run side by side with another human and have a nice conversation with them when you're doing it, so the idea here is that we could have something be a little bit more fun to where I could run with my dad and talk to him still inside if we were running on a treadmill and not, like, be just on our screens running on a treadmill, which is what normally probably happens if we are both running on treadmills side by side. So I think the two best options would be a mega belt, which I've seen in like Mr. Beast videos with a bunch of people running on and they keep on speeding it up and see who the last one standing is. Or the other option is to somehow combine two belts at different paces, but move them a little bit closer to make it more intimate where you can talk to someone else and not just want to be on your screen the whole time. So idea number 14 is a double treadmill to be a little bit more social. Idea number 15 is downcline mode. I've had some pretty bad knee issues recently, mainly because of my IT band. I don't want to get too into it and talk this whole episode about my running knee issues, which I definitely could. But just like treadmills have incline, I wonder if having a downcline mode could help strengthen my knees more because I know in big marathons, the downhills are actually harder on the marathoner's knees than the uphills. And I wonder if we could simulate that on a treadmill to strengthen the knees more so you're more prepared for the downhills when they inevitably come to you because they're just part of life. Just like they're uphills, they're downhills. So idea number 15 is downcline to help strengthen your knees more. However, I will say that I am not a doctor, and if you know something about running, this might not be a bad idea, or this might be a really bad idea. So definitely DM me on LinkedIn or send me a note in the comments. Those are all my 15 ideas for the CEO of a treadmill. Would love to hear if you have any more. Again, please DM me on LinkedIn. Thank you for listening or watching this episode. And to be clear, the views expressed are my own and not those of my employer. Stay questioning.